So one of the cool things that they've done behind this property is they've created all these paths through the woods. All this over in here, which it's really kind of fun and cool because they created these little paths so they could walk through their property in here. So what I want to do, I don't want to, they have all this beautiful moss and ferns and everything here, but because they have these paths, I'm not going to grab it from right here. I'm going to go way down beyond their paths, and that's where I'm going to find the moss. And I mean, just check out these ferns, all this woodland stuff. You know, these are the kind of elements that we want to introduce into our water features. It just makes it look that much more realistic. The pond that we're working on right now is in the shade for 3/4 of the day. So the fact that it's going to get some sunlight, the moss is going to grow because of the shade, the ferns will get enough of the sun to keep them healthy. But there is just tons and tons of moss and stuff in these woods. It's just beautiful. You know, one of the things that's attracted me to water features is that I love spending time in the woods. I mean, I've always hunted and fished and everything else, and you know, it's one of those places that I can go that is just, that's my serenity. The sound of water is my serenity. So this natural element to be in the woods, to even just look for the moss, it's just one of the things that really I enjoy. And that's why we love creating natural elements in people's yards, because we want them to be able to enjoy the same thing. So these are the kind of areas that we look for when we're trying to gather some moss. I mean, look at this old stump and blow down. You see this rock right here? This has some beautiful fern moss on it, and if you just gently pull that up, look how easily that comes up. What I like to do is not take all of it, so I'll leave some of it on this rock, because when you get moisture and stuff like that, it'll just kind of respread. And this has a really nice clump of it. Sometimes if you grab it and it has like a little bit of soil to it, let me show you this one. This is a great carpet. So look at the root on the back of that. Now if we put a little bit of soil over our gravel in those areas, it'll really, and then the other thing you got to remember is moss is like a wick in the water feature. So as long as you have some of that touching the water in your pond, it's going to keep that moist. When you have that little bit of root system on it, it's really going to help with the growth of it and the health of it. Check that rock out. I'm not even going to touch that one because that's just perfect. I love the way that one looks right here in the woods. So that's one of our secrets on how we're trying to naturalize things. You know, everybody has some woods behind them somewheres. You know, I grew up, we had these huge walls in a canal and they're all covered in moss. And to be honest with you, the areas that I used to mess around with when I was a kid, we actually own property that borders that now. So sometimes it's limestone, so moss grows really well on that, especially in the shade. Sometimes I'll go behind the house, I'll take very little from back there because I really like the way it looks, and to keep that old Erie Canal look with those big hunks of limestone. But you know what? You can just take a walk in the woods. I'm sure you can find some natural elements for your water feature.